Hello, guys. We're back. My co-host Juan and we're talking this week about the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it's not about money directly, like you maybe think with the title. It's really about jumpstarting your income, your life, and your success. And it's really talking about how you can use the compound effect that we all know, or some of us know, from the financial area in our everyday life, and how our habits and the things we do consistently are changing our life and everything. Yeah, basically everything in our life. So I'm really excited to talk about this book and give you our nuggets, our insights, and what we think about it.
Hello guys, and yes, welcome back to Easy Business Books here, and we're doing the book review on the compounding effect. And actually, Senia and I were just joking about how we're already doing that. Like we're already having a compounding effects with making book reviews, right, Senia?
Yes, it's so true. And it's with everything, like making it a habit. That's what's so important. And I think even with our channel here, like you said, we're using so many of the aspects that were mentioned in that book to keep it consistent and to create that compound effect. And I can't wait for the momentum to build and everything to go.
Right. And I mean, this book, if we can, how would you summarize this book in a small sentence?
I think I would summarize it in a way that it explains why it is so important to create habits, and a little bit of support also on how to create them. But like I said to you, when before we started that recording, was this book in combination with Atomic Habits. I think that's like the thing.
When you suggested that we should do a book review we should read this book and then do a book review on this, I didn't know what to expect. And after listening to it, again, there were so many things. I'm like, yeah, I heard this one. I'm trying to find something like, come on, tell me something that like gets me going. And it was just the simple stuff that got with me.
Like, I mean, like everything around creating habits and a structure and something that makes you successful and gets you to your highest performance. That's everything I'm all about and I love. And this book is definitely one of the game changers in this area, I think. And it gives you not just like the how you do it, but why you should do it and why it is so important. And it also gives you like the foundation of like what you need in order to create that habits, with the like that you need a strong why, that it need to be aligned with your values. And I think these two things are really the foundation to creating these habits. And like I said, in the combination with Atomic Habits, where you get like the detailed things and the 4-step or the cycle of creating these habits, that's where like it all comes together, and you can say like understand like why I need to create these habits, what I need to know in order to like push through, and then let's say the brain hacks on how to really build them. And also in this books you get a few hacks on how to build them, and that I think is really valuable.
Yeah, and one of the examples they gave on that particular topic about finding your why, I think they were talking about people that say, okay, I'm gonna do more exercise, right? And then they just attack it like 100%. Like, I'm gonna spend 2 hours every day, buy the expensive, equipment and go all of it. And they do that for a week or two maybe, but then after that, because they see, I have to really spend 2 hours or 3 hours every day, because they were too ambitious about it, then they like stop doing it. And then finding out the why, it's like, okay, well, you said you wanted to do this, why? And then they were like, what was it? Something about the guy wanted to see his abs, which I would be that guy. Yeah, I would like to see some abs on myself. Why not? but that is, but like, find out, really, is that the reason why? And then you just ask yourself why. And now the why with that particular example was the guy wanted to just play with his kids eventually, like not just have back pains.
Yeah, I really like in that example. I really liked how it combined. Like this guy wanted to be less in front of the TV and sit on the couch and do more with their family. And so he also wanted to have this hobby of like photography. So he combined it and he bought his equipment and he spent time with his family to make, like, to use the camera, and then he was looking for the perfect pictures and combining it. And I think that's really powerful to combine also different things, and then that you're kind of like replacing things. That's also a really powerful thing, that you're not just like, oh, I want to, and you also hear that in Atomic Habits. It's like, I don't just want to implement this new habit, but like replacing it is way easier. And then also creating your routines and your structures that really, like, you don't have to think about it. And I really love this idea, and I implement it for myself and my clients, is that you plan everything and you know exactly, like, okay, in your calendar, I will do a weekly review on that. I will, like, I put my tasks in my calendar, or like block out my calendar and time blocking. And all of these different things is like, you support your brain that you can't like second guess it. It's just like, it's in the calendar, so it will happen. And I don't have to think about it. So it will free your time and the brain space or the head space, that you don't have to think about it, and you more or less automatically do it. And it's way easier to create this like good habits that way.
Yeah, exactly it. Because basically what you're already doing already, Sanya, the book explains why that works. And they kept talking about tracking, right? Just tracking down the progress with anything that you do. And that hit with me really hard, because there was a time where I was into, I just want to run mode. I want to run. I don't know why. I just felt like running. And the more I got into running, and then the more I tracked my calories, actually. And then, when you track down exactly what you put in your mouth, like how much calories, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, etc., and then you realize, oh wow, I'm putting all this stuff, and then it takes me this much to burn it off. And there was that part of that book, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get it, man. I totally get it. Yes, it's like when you're going to the gym and just write down how many sets you did that day, and then you compare it to the next week, and then you see this little size. It just inspires you. And the tracking part, I love that about that book too, actually.
Yeah, like this part of like creating that awareness, I think, is so important, that you're not just like, oh, I want to like become fitter, or I want to do that or that, but to, before you change something, first create that awareness. And sometimes this awareness is enough that you're changing, because you realize that you do like bad things or have bad habits. It doesn't matter if it's like spending habits or eating habits, like it goes for everything. And we are so working on autopilot most of the time that we don't realize what we're actually doing, and it doesn't matter in which area it is. So I also love this part of creating awareness, because that is the first step we all need to take in order to change something. And sometimes this awareness is enough to initiate that change. And another aspect I totally loved was like doing it step by step. He made that example of the woman who was like, had that colleague who run a half marathon, and she was like, I could never do that. I'm like overweight and stuff like that. And then he was like telling other, and like all these different changes didn't really felt like a lot of change or like dramatic change. But with like that compounding, like with adding up and then going the next step, she totally changed her life, and she was able to run marathons. And what I also love, what he says a lot, is like, you changed it one area in your life, and all of a sudden, like everything else in your life changes for the better. And he gives, so like, I have the feeling with every topic he's talking about, in the end, the resolution is always like, okay, but this person changed this, and that was like the thing. And he explains the let's say the theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this little change, like this and this and this and this changed. And that is just amazing.
Yeah. The little things is that bite us,
Yeah.
right? That really make the change. He used a sentence to summarize the entire thing. And I love this quote from that particular book. It was, success is not doing 5,000 things really well. It's doing half a dozen things really well 5,000 times.
Yeah.
I love that quote, man. I was like, yeah, just a little bit, like just one day, just 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, but like consistently. So it doesn't feel like it's something, but in the end, it's the compounding effect, right? That's what that's what that sentence is. That's what that sentence, how it summarizes the book. Was there something you didn't like about this book? Because we just keep praising it so much.
For me, was maybe a little bit of a trigger, was like, I'm not that consistent in some things than I would like to be. So this book really triggered me. I have it on my to-do list for today, actually, to really write down like the person I want to be. I mean, I do that consistently in my morning journals, where I like write down what kind of life I would like to have, what kind of person I would like to be. And then I go over the feelings, over the actions, to like who I am, over the feelings, over the actions, to like what I need to change. But actually like really implementing it in a way like, okay, I have like 10 things I need to change, and habits I want to create, and just be like, okay, that's the one thing that will have the best ripple effect, and I will just start with that. That's not really what I'm doing. So it's more like, okay, these are all the things, and I try to take care of it more or less. But I'm not taking it as serious as I should, according to the book. So it was a little bit of a reminder for myself, which always hurts, to call yourself out of your bullshit. And also a huge motivation to be like, okay, I need to go back on that, because I did that for a while and it really changed everything. I mean, these are habits I have now, but I think I need to like redo it and think about which new habits do I need to create for myself. But how about you? Was there anything you didn't like?
He made me like something about me that I didn't like.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I always felt guilty, and then this is like a confession I'm making, like publicly speaking.
I'm excited now.
It's he made me love it because he just tweaked it a little bit. So remember, you were talking about how it is about you need to find out your why you want to do something, right? Well, I can get very competitive with things.
Okay.
I can get very competitive with things. Whatever it is, we're playing tic-tac-toe, we're playing, rock, paper, scissors. I can get very competitive. I don't know. That's just me. And what ended up happening was I felt guilty, because then I always felt, but I'm doing this because I want to see the other person down. Like I want to like beat them and so on. I just want to be like on your face, I feel guilty because I'm like, am I like not like a nice human? Like that's what I felt like, right? Maybe it's just too competitive. But then what this book was saying, nah, bro, that's all right. If that's your drive, use it, as long as it's legal and morally okay. Use that, and that's your why, And I love the example that there's a couple of examples that he used. For example, what's his name? Arnold Armstrong, the guy that did the Tour de France. So this is like towards the end, where it's just a competitive event, the Tour de France. It's very hard to do, and there's a lot of people racing to win, to be the number one. And this guy is very competitive as well. He is going up a hill. It's raining. Everyone hates it when it's raining. It's cold. It's windy. And then he is like, perfect. Everyone hates it. No one can suffer better than me. I'm just gonna go the extra mile just so I can put the way this guy is, you know. And I love that. He's like, no, that's look, it's legal what you're doing, and it's morally okay. So go for it. Just go for it. And then the other example he used for that was there was this guy who was like not good at school, and he got really picked on a bit because of it. I was like that too. I wasn't very good at academics, but then there was something he was good at, and that was the acting part. And he just focused on that. He really focused on becoming a better actor because that was what he was good at. And eventually he ended up becoming one of the best paid actors in the world. And then he just decided to focus more on what he was good at because he wanted to show the academic guys, ha, see, I'm better at you, even though you made fun of me at this. But now, you know, it's nothing illegal or anything. Now he's successful, and he uses the success to help people who are dealing with drug addictions, etc., etc. So that's what that book made me like. The top thing was,
I love that.
don't hate yourself, Juan. If you're a competitive guy, it's okay. Just make sure it's legal and okay.
I love that because I learned that lesson more and more for myself, not just in that area, but about accepting yourself the way you are and not trying to be someone else. Because if you try to be someone else, and I learned it more and more because we do like currently I do a lot of like tests. I did some before, but like not like in that dimension. And with every personality test you're doing, you think like maybe, oh, like another one, like already know that. No, they have all different angles, and you get to know yourself more and more. But what is important, and what I also did sometimes in the past, is not to be like, okay, that's really nice, but I want to be like this. And sure, you can work on certain things, but there are other things that are just you, and yet you have like you with like being competitive. It's not making any sense to suppress it because you feel like, oh, it's like not anything good or like a good characteristic. No, use it for you, and make it work for you, because that's who you are. And I mean, it's still a learning process for me, and I think it's a lifelong learning process, because I think we will never stop learning about ourselves until the day we die, because there's always more to figure out. So I'm really, really happy that you learned such an important lesson for yourself through that book. Awesome.
Thank you for the book recommendation. You picked this book. You picked this book, and so great, we did it. See, we're making the compound effects. Let's keep piling that up with more videos.
Doing that. So yeah, I'm really happy that we read this book, that we both had so many learnings from it. I really hope you guys, if you watch this video and later on maybe read the book, you have as many takeaways as we have. If you like our book reviews, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We're favorite, also not favorite books. We also had books where we're like, okay, maybe that's not our favorite one, but we want to give you our honest opinion about the books we're reading, that you have a chance to see for yourself if you want to read them or not. And I can't wait to see you again next week with my lovely co-host, Juan.
You got it. We'll be up next week. Guys, we'll see you in the next video. Xenia, always a pleasure.
Always. Bye, guys.
Bye.